Basil. I'm gonna have to crush it myself, like next level. I'm gonna try a different style than I'm used to, and I'm also gonna make these amazing pesto dishes with a couple different variants that are outstanding. It's time to harvest what I planted months ago, and I've barely touched it waiting for today, and I want to hurry up and pick it all before it starts raining, because it's been raining on and off for the last few days. And of course, I'm joined by my sidekick and best sous chef ever, Miss America, Frankie, otherwise known as. Super fresh basil. I'll be able to keep it in this and use it later on today or tomorrow. It'll still stay good. And it smells delicious. A helpful tip on cleaning the basil. The way I do it is the way I was taught and the same way I clean leaks. I add basil to a fresh bowl of water, let the debris and the dirt fall to the bottom, and then remove the basil from the water. It doesn't work to just rinse and run under the faucet. You gotta dunk it and then remove it. Quick pat dry, and then I just store it in the refrigerator until I'm ready to use it.
Please mind the gap.
For this first batch, we'll be getting as close to a classic, although it's not traditional, because we're not going to be using dairy, and we'll be toasting the pine nuts and the garlic for a much more nutty, smoky, and flavorsome pesto. The thing about toasting pine nuts is you have to keep an eye on them. Do not leave them. I have burnt them so many times. It's crazy. On toasting the garlic, I've done this almost every time since I learned this in Thailand. Leave the skins on, toast them in a hot skillet until they start to brown. It makes for super easy peeling and gives it a really nice smoky, subtle charred flavor, which to me is a fantastic way to elevate and build the flavor layers I'm looking for. Once everything's all ready to go, for this close to classic version, I'm gonna do this in a food processor. Feel free to use a blender, just make sure to pulse blend it. We're not making smoothies, and I want some texture and mouthfeel. We're going to use straight up basil, the garlic, pine nuts, olive oil, some nutritional yeast instead of dairy cheese because it's got that umami flavor and it's better for me. I'm going to also add a pinch of salt and then just pulse blend it while I drizzle the olive oil in until it reaches the consistency I'm looking for. I always got to make sure you taste it. Just the right amount of sharpness from the basil and the garlic. And I really do think toasting the pine nuts and the garlic really helps a lot. When you notice me squinting a lot, it's not because I'm high. I have nothing against that. But it's because I'm in this awkward stage where I need glasses to read, and if I look at the camera but I don't need them to cook, I'm going to use pistachios. Sage, I don't want to wear them all the time, but I have to. I'm getting old. That's all I got to say. I obviously need to hit the gym again. The second batch is certainly not traditional. We're going to be using the toasted garlic and pistachios. And we're going to be adding baby spinach. For more nutrition, sure. But who am I kidding? For me, it's about making a lot to freeze, but I can use at a later date. And it's also more cost effective when you have to buy basil. Adding spinach, it's cheaper. And it helps balance the flavors. Spinach will make a little go a long way when it comes to making pesto. I've gotten a lot of comments about how I keep things tidy. And my mindset about that is that since I catered for 15 years, I always cook and clean like I'm on a TV set or on display. If you think that way, you're always going to stay clean. Two different kinds of pestos. I've got my pistachio one here. I put them in the small ones so I can freeze a couple of them and just use one today. And then I have the pine nut, which I'll probably use quite a lot this week, and I'll just make a ton of stuff. But to show you the difference, honestly, there's not too much difference in color. I think the pistachio one is definitely a bit more vibrant green because the pistachios are green. And then it also has spinach. I cut it with a little bit of spinach if you like to not have it so sharp with the garlic and the basil, which I also think toasting that garlic adds a level of like smokiness but it also cuts down on the sharpness. And that I could just eat with a spoon. It's delicious. Super fresh tasting. And then the pine nut one. There's very subtle differences. In the past I've made it with pumpkin seeds. You can use sunflower seeds, walnuts, almonds, any kind of nut you like. It's such a super good way to store all and use all that extra basil. Now I'm gonna make a couple dishes because I'm hungry, as usual. You're not gonna wanna miss what's coming up. But first, let's go around the neighborhood with little Franks.
Oh, it's time for Frankie's walk. Frankie, you gotta go for a walk. Come here. Give me, oh, sit, sit, sit.
Frankie loves to be out here in the river as much as possible. Where'd she go? No, she's over there exploring. She's so damn cute. Come on, Frankie. This place is awesome. I love walking over here. It's not too far.
Squirrel. Sit.
Today, we're going to be making crusted tofus. Tofus like you've never had before. This is the way to like tofu. At one point, I didn't like it. Now I love it. And this is the way. It's got that texture, crispy, crunchy, fatty. It's deliciousness. Melt in your mouth. It's really fucking amazing. I gotta find Frankie.
Who's the best girl? Frankie? You're the best girl, aren't you?
Orzo. Orzo might look like rice, but it's pasta. And for the main event, we're toasting half of it to give a nutty, fragrant flavor that's just beautiful and restaurant quality. I'm also impatient and don't want to wait for the water to boil, so I'm using my trusty kettle to speed things along. And I can't stress enough, when I'm toasting anything on the stovetop, especially in cast iron, keep an eye on it, always. The cast iron conducts heat really well, it transfers it to the product, keep an eye on it, toast it, don't burn it. For this, we're adding the toasted orzo, toasted pine nuts, the cherry tomatoes, scallions or green onions for my UK friends, some fresh basil or basil, a splash of olive oil, a pinch of salt, and a healthy amount of cracked black pepper. And jumping right over to the tofu, I'm using an organic firm tofu that I got over at my local grocer called Sainsbury's. Pretty inexpensive here, delicious. I'm going to be heating up that cast iron pan to get it wicked hot. I season the pan, not the tofu at first, place it on the hot skillet. It's hot. It is hot, baby. And I'm just going to cook that for like 3 or 4 minutes on each side to form this great crust. I mean, it is fantastic. While the tofu's finishing cooking, I'm gonna make the glaze. So I'm gonna be adding 2 parts pesto, 1 part vegan mayonnaise, just mixing that up really well. And then I'm gonna apply it evenly all on the surface of the tofu. And I'm gonna garnish it with a couple thinly sliced cherry tomatoes. You'll see, it's beautiful. And I have an extra courgette or zucchini in the refrigerator. I'm gonna use this, it'll go on the dish. Perfect. More veg, the better. I like to place the zucchini face down on the pan. We don't touch them after that. It'll just go on the fire and then into the stove just like that. It will form a nice crust on the courgette zucchini. The orzo's all ready. I'm just going to quickly drain it, rinse it with cold water. I kind of want to chill it down. This is going to be like a salad. You could heat it up if you like, but I'm going to keep this cool, and the tofu will be super hot. So it'll be nice, summery, springy, early winter dish. A quick plate up, restaurant style service for one, coming up. And then I save the extra, which I'll eat over the next couple days. That looks so freaking good. Look at that. Amazing. I kind of don't want to plate it. It looks too good. Courgette. Look at that. I'm just leaving it like this. Oh, I'm not slicing it. Look at that. Beautiful. Kiss. Kiss. Okay. Good girl. Okay. Alright, so if I was going to serve this with for other people, I would take this off and slice it. But since it's just me and Frankie's not eating this because there's too much garlic, I'm going to have to crush it myself. There it is. Look at that. Beautiful. Don't want to mess up these tomatoes. They look so nice. I'm going to save half of this for later. For the rest of it. There you go. Nice. I like keeping it when it's whole. The skin's so crusty on the bottom. That's delicious. So fresh. That pesto, the toasted orzo, honestly. So good. And you got that, the crispy crust on the tofu, it just makes it like next level. If you like cooking tofu, and I have more coming because I have some great ideas I want to be able to do and to film and to share. But check out this video here about how to make like the best barbecue block tofu. It's different than what other people are doing. This texture and mouthfeel of this glaze, or whatever you want to call it, the topper, whatever flavors, and I'll do a whole bunch of them coming up. It's so freaking good. It's so delicious. Anyways, I'll see you soon. Cheers.